How's it going, you guys? So I'm out here right now just drinking some amazing bulletproof coffee, and I want to make a video to discuss my current nutrition and training. But before I do, check out this badass shirt. Lift weights, eat steak, #meathills. So my nutrition and training. Let's start with my training. So, what does my training routine look like recently? So it's been really hard balancing my work and my training as of lately, but I think I've got everything dialed in as of this week, but I've been constantly changing things over the last couple months. So, what my training looks like right now. I'm running 5-3-1. For those of you who don't know what 5-3-1 is, please look it up, especially if you're looking to increase your health and your lean mass to body fat ratio, because how much muscle you're carrying and how much strength you have also equates to how much bone density you're going to have throughout your lifespan. And more lean mass means a greater lean mass to fat mass ratio, and that's very important for your health. And proper strength training is like the number one thing you should start doing as far as fitness is concerned, along with high intensity interval cardio. If you're not doing proper strength training, you're just playing around. People who don't follow a program, they're just like, not going anywhere. Anyway, so I'm doing 5-3-1, and as of this next week, I am doing 5-3-1 full body 3 times a week. So Monday, so this is powerlifting. I'm doing powerlifting and I'm doing Jiu Jitsu and Muay Thai. So I'll start with the powerlifting training. Monday, it's going to be bench press and squat. And I'm doing bench press and squat 5-3-1. And so I'm working up to a AMRAP set, meaning as many reps as possible. And then after that, if I get the prescribed number of reps for the day, then I'm going to work up to a 5 rep max, a 3 rep max, and a 1 rep max, depending on how I feel. And then I work down to 3 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 5 back off sets. And then do accessories or whatever I feel like doing for that day. So that's Monday, is squat and bench, 5-3-1. And then Tuesday is just going to be conditioning, mobility, and swimming and stuff like that. Stretching, cardio, heavy bag. And then Wednesday is going to be just overhead press and pull-ups. The overhead press is going to be overhead press 5-3-1, following the same set and rep scheme that I mentioned for Monday. And then Thursday, same as Tuesday, swimming, mobility, etc., conditioning, burpees and whatnot. Friday is going to be deadlift 5-3-1 and bench press, pause bench. That's what's going to be. Pause bench up to a 3 rep max, a 3 rep max. And then also on Wednesday, I forgot to mention, I'm going to do paused squat, but only light pause squats, just to keep that form in there. And so that's pretty much it as far as my powerlifting is concerned. That's all you really need, is a proper program and structuring out this way. Heavy and light days for different movements for each muscle group or whatever, each movement that you're doing. And, doing more than you did last week. That's very important, is pushing your body beyond what it's already capable of doing. So if you're not hitting maxes and records every week, then, I don't know what to tell you. So, one of the reasons why I switched to full body and I set my program up this way is because I was following 5-3-1 before, and I noticed this, in particular on upper body exercises, I get hurt a lot easier if I don't have more frequency. So like on bench press, I felt like I almost tore my pec on the second week of 5-3-1 because you're only benching once a week. And, when I used to do, I would do, 1 rep max, 3 rep max, 5 rep max, every single day. At one point I was doing Bulgarian. I never felt sore. In fact, I kept feeling more and more mobile for the bench press the more frequently I maxed out every single day. But then I'm doing, like, with 531, I was originally doing the first set last, where I was basically hitting 15 rep maxes after I hit the AMRAP set. And only once a week. So I just felt horrible and damn near like injured my pec the second week, because it's so many reps, such high volume, and not frequently enough to really keep that motor pattern down. So your form gets sloppy because you're not benching frequently enough, not practicing the lift, and then because you're doing such high rep ranges, which leaves you like fatigued. And when you're training under fatigue, you're more likely to injure yourself. So I said, fuck that. So now I'm not doing the 15 rep max nonsense. I'm not going to be doing the first set last or whatever. I'm just going to do the AMRAP set, and then I'm going to work up to 5 rep max, 3 rep max, and 1 rep max, and then back off sets. And then I'm adding an extra bench day, so there's more frequency. So that's what I'm doing for my powerlifting. So it's pretty much hitting a max on each lift throughout the week. Then, a couple maxes, 531 has you hitting 7 rep maxes, all sorts of different rep ranges of maxes. And then I'm doing the joker sets, what they call joker sets, where I'm really just going to work up, I'm just going to max out if I feel like it for that day. So then we have my jiu-jitsu training. So I'm doing jiu-jitsu 5 days a week, every single day. And then I just recently have been implementing Muay Thai back into my routine. But, that's, a weird thing right now, and I'm not even going to get into detail as to why. But I have been kickboxing for over 8 years, so, I figure I need more work on grappling anyway. And I just earned my second stripe in jiu-jitsu last week. So there's that. So how is my schedule exactly? I wake up at 8 a.m. I drink my bulletproof coffee, which is just 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, blended with coffee and yerba mate and whatever else I want to throw in my coffee machine. And then I go straight to the gym at 9 a.m. I do my powerlifting routine. Sometimes I get there at 10, so it's kind of late. And then I get to Ohana, which is my martial arts academy, and I do jiu-jitsu at 11:30, and then I might do the Muay Thai at 12:30. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's 5 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays they have no gi at 12:30, so I might do no gi jiu-jitsu at 12:30, and then instead of the 11:30 jiu-jitsu and a gi, I might do the Muay Thai class instead. Wednesdays at 12:30 they have Muay Thai sparring, and then Monday and Wednesdays they have sparring at 7:30. So, and then jiu-jitsu we spar at the end of every class for 20 minutes. So that's 4 5-minute rounds. Some days we do 6 5-minute rounds, so a total of 30 minutes of jiu-jitsu sparring. And then Thursdays and Fridays we do a whole hour of 5-minute rounds in jiu-jitsu. So very, very intense. It's very hard on the body. So that's a pretty hardcore routine. So yeah, 9 a.m. So 8 a.m. wake up, drink my bulletproof coffee. 9 a.m. go to the gym, lift weights. Do my powerlifting, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then the other days is whatever weird mobility and conditioning I want to do. And then 11:30, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, yada yada. Get out of there at 1, maybe 1:45, depending on what classes I do after jiu-jitsu. And then I'll eat or whatever. I'll go to work. And then I might add a 6 p.m. jiu-jitsu session coming up here in the future. So that I'm training, jiu-jitsu twice a day, every day. But it just depends, because how I work around my work schedule and everything. So Yeah, I mean, that's a hardcore training schedule. Now, how's my diet right now? So I'm following a nose-to-tail carnivore diet, and right now, just recently, I started experimenting with targeted keto again. And I've tried targeted ketosis in the past. For a short period during the lockdown in San Antonio, I was doing targeted ketosis with dextrose powder, and because I had some friends that kept their MMA gym open, and I was doing sparring during that time. So I timed dextrose before that, and it was in the evening, which is like the worst time for me at least to do all that. And I had decent results, 20 grams of carbs coming from dextrose in the evening before MMA sparring. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking 20 grams of carbs from honey before my morning session, so with my morning coffee or whatever. And I don't do that every day. I only do that on my hardest days of MMA and Jiu Jitsu and whatnot. And if I'm feeling, and it just depends. I've just started recently doing it again. And I know that dextrose is probably like the more superior source for targeted ketosis, but I want to experiment with honey. Mostly just because I don't really feel comfortable consuming a refined carbohydrate, even if it has to do with performance. And I feel like, the more I study honey, the more I realize it's not just a high glycemic load carbohydrate like I thought before. In fact, it feels completely different in my stomach. I feel like it's killing off bad bacteria, really. I really do. But that's placebo. Anyway, so I might experiment with like 50 to 60 grams of carbs from honey here in the future. But right now it's not really a solid thing. It's just something I'm kind of doing and trying to see how it works. Still trying to get 1 gram per pound of lean mass minimum of protein. I notice if I don't hit, I notice even if I do 1 gram per pound of lean mass, which is about 160 pounds for me, 160 grams, I feel a bit more sore. And I feel like I don't recover as well unless I consume enough, and unless I consume around 200 grams of protein. So I tend to stay on the higher end of protein. If I don't, I tend to suffer for it. My fat intake lately has been pretty good, because I've been doing bulletproof coffee in the morning and then bulletproof coffee after my workouts before work, because I don't really have enough time to eat with my schedule. And so those coffees contain around 60 grams of fat or more from 2 tablespoons of butter or 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. So that's a lot. That's like 120 grams of fat before I even eat my 2 pounds of meat for the day. So I am getting a lot more fat, and I think that that's great. I notice I definitely feel a lot better. I don't feel hungry, or I don't feel a lack of energy at all, as long as I maintain that, which is just my second one for the day. So pretty much nose-to-tail carnivore with some added, coconut oil and coffee. And then I also take herbs, but I really cut down. In fact, I think I'm going to start taking Siberian ginseng for about maybe 2 months straight, just to see if it has any benefit. I was taking ashwagandha again. I was taking the KSM 66. I just released that video yesterday. Check it out if you haven't already. But it seems to cause a lot of the same side effects that other types of ashwagandha do. So I cut that out, and I'm really not even into supplements anymore. The only supplements that I really find are, necessary and worth taking, as a permanent thing, especially on a low carb diet, is I take about a tablespoon of salt a day. So 3 teaspoons of Redmond's or Himalayan salt. If it's Himalayan, I try to add an extra teaspoon because it's lower in sodium. And then I've found that it's pretty important for me to also get potassium from a supplement. So I take either new salt or Morton's light salt. And then I think kelp or some type of iodine source is important. And magnesium, since I'm taking all these other minerals as well, about 400 milligrams. And I personally like magnesium citrate because glycinate for some reason causes me disaster pants, whereas other people think citrate is the one. So that's pretty much it. You know, if I don't get my salt, then I have insomnia and I have leg cramps and things. But I notice I fall right to sleep as long as I get my salt. And if I am having trouble getting to sleep during the nighttime, I find that it's a lack of salt from all the sweating and intense training I do. So I take a teaspoon of salt and then I fall to sleep within like 15 minutes. So, you know, keep in mind, you guys, if you're doing all this vigorous training, eating, you know, even up to 100 grams of carbs a day is not necessarily going to kick you out of ketosis. I've done experiments where I've done over 100 grams of carbs, but I don't think that that's a good idea, even if you are an athlete. I think around 20 to 60 grams of carbs before your first workout, like in the very morning, if you're training multiple times a day, is plenty. It's way more than enough, and you'll be able to maintain a pretty consistent state of ketosis with that intake. And then just, you know, keep your carbs either non-existent or lower on your non-workout days. And you know, there's a champion jiu-jitsu guy, forgot his name, but he's a type 2 diabetic who trains at the highest level in jiu-jitsu, and he's able to eat upwards of 100 grams of carbs a day and maintain 1.5 millimolar of ketones in his blood. So that's pretty substantial to maintain ketosis at that level. So anyway, leave your questions and comments down below. I got to get to work. I'm probably going to be late. Talk to y'all next time.